Welcome back, Agent. It's so good to see you've returned from your last assignment. I hope you gave it the best that corporate horror has to offer, and I'm sure that you were able to collect all of the pertinent information so that it can be stored here in my archives. I have your new assignment here, and it's ready for you at your earliest convenience. And then it began to run after me, faster than anything I had ever seen run before, and all I could do was watch as it got closer. The creature dashed at me with lightning speed. It wasn't but a second or two, and it had already closed half of the distance between us. I was so scared I tripped over my legs and fell backwards. It was already so close. The only thing that I thought to do was to turn around and try to gain some momentum by crawling away from that thing. I reached out and grabbed the pavement, trying to build up some energy to get on my feet and then run. But I only pulled myself a little ways when I heard the running steps stop and a force of wind leap behind me. I glanced up and saw this gray-skinned, thin demon jump over me and land a few yards away. With my hands underneath me, I pushed my body up to a standing position. I didn't have the nerve to attempt turning around again after tripping like an idiot, so I split the difference and started running towards Abigail's apartment. The creature seemed to follow my movements with its head, like it could see me, which was unnerving to say the least, as this monster had no eyes to see me with. I ran around the side of the building, and just as this creature left my line of sight, I saw it begin to gain momentum. The sound of its bare skin running along the cement made my heart pump more adrenaline into me. I ran faster than I thought my body was capable of going. I reached the back of the building and was met with a solid wall. I didn't even have time to think about any other options that might present themselves to me. I knew I was going to have to scale this wall if I was going to survive. I leapt as hard as I could. My fingers barely grasped the brick at the top of the wall. My feet slid from underneath, trying to push my body the rest of the way to the top of the wall. That seemed an eternity was passing to get over. The sound of the bare feet sprinting from behind me stopped. I straddled the top of the wall, giving me the momentum I needed to look back and see the creature. It had changed yet again. I could see the lips had become fuller, much more puffy. It looked like it had been injected with Botox, like some kind of fucked up model. Eyes were starting to form, like if someone's face was barely visible through a piece of thin fabric. Its chest was fuller, and its feet were shaped differently, like they were arching more. It was an unnatural sight, and it gave me more than enough reason to get the hell out of there. I ran to the end of the street and was able to hail a passing cab. I shouted at the cabbie to drive. The poor fellow was happy to accommodate my request. I kept looking back, but didn't see that creature the whole way home, which gave me some relief. Thank God I took Abigail out on a Friday, because I stayed locked away in my apartment the rest of the weekend. I blew off friends inviting me for a drink. I just kept having this thought that the second I left my apartment, that fucking monster would be out there waiting for me. I wasn't about to take that chance. Monday came, and by that time I couldn't wait any longer. I had to go to work and face the real world. Ironically, I was more concerned about how awkward it was going to be seeing Abigail again, not facing that monster in the streets. Walking into that office, I looked over at her. Just for a moment, she quickly looked up at me and then shot her head back. That bitch wasn't even willing to give me the time of day. I don't get it. She was always flirting and making fucking jokes about us dating. Now, when I show just a little bit of assertion, she doesn't even give me the time of day, I thought. Those thoughts stayed with me through the whole week. It didn't get any better when I tried wishing her good morning on Wednesday, and she pretended like she wasn't listening. On Friday, those thoughts became insignificant and meant nothing. Because just before 5, just before it was time to leave, I looked out the window, down at the parking garage. Right next to my car, that creature was sitting on the hood. And it had changed even more than last time.
All right, Agent. Your next case file can be found here. For all further cases, you can always check back here at Corporate Horror. And of course, if any other information or research is needed, you can always check back at the previous case file here. Most of it's redacted. Is it really taking you this long to read? Okay, look, if you're not going to take the file, I really need to put this back into the archives.